What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel, Action Creature. So today we're looking at the Artic Figures custom V-Rex from the 2005 movie King Kong. That King Kong movie is probably my favorite King Kong movie. I saw it as a kid, and that film is just near and dear to my heart. And one of my favorite things about that movie is this V-Rex right here. This V-Rex, when I saw this as a kid, it was just like awesome. Like, as a Godzilla fan, seeing a creature like this on the big screen is just something else. You're rooting for the V-Rex. You love the V-Rex, and when King Kong kills him, he's just the worst guy ever. But that being said, you know, I'm really passionate about the V-Rex, the design and everything. And unfortunately, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on this figure, and they're not the most positive. I want to tell you guys all the things that bother me about this figure before the review, so I can go through the review without critiquing every little thing. So before that, though, I just want to say that Artic Figures, he put out a freaking amazing sculpt, and like, for one guy, this is a really cool piece. But I just don't think it is worth the $300 that he's charging personally, because of the problems that I've had with this figure. The first thing I want to say is that there is a lot of paint chipping with this figure. Because of the friction joints and the nature of the figure, it just paint chips like crazy. If you look here on the ground, there is just a lot of paint chipping, and I've kind of wiped some of it away because I've done this review a few times and I just couldn't get my thoughts and feelings out there in a calm and clear manner. So I've been redoing the review a couple times, and I've wiped some of it away in the process, but as you can see, there's still a lot left there. So figure chipping is a big thing. Another thing is the figure itself actually chipping, like parts of it breaking off. So what I mean is the finger right here, the pinky, is actually missing some of the finger. It's just completely broken off there, which is unfortunate. Another thing that's broken off is a couple of the teeth. If you look inside the mouth here, these little gray spots are teeth that have broken off, like right here and right here. So that's another thing. One more thing is the figure is really hard to stand, as you can see as I'm trying to stand this thing back up. The figure's so heavy that it can barely stand with these string joints, and as we get into articulation, I'll kind of explain that more and how it could have been done better. Lastly, a lot of the figure is left unpainted, like right here. It was just assembled and painted. It should have been, while it was disassembled, it should have been painted and then put together. So, if you're paying $300, you get a fully painted figure, not partially painted. So that's unfortunate. I'll just show you some more spots that are just left unpainted. Between the toes here are not painted. A lot of the tail is just missing paint when you articulate it. Like here, and the rest of the tail. So it's just unfortunate that the figure was just put in one pose and painted that way. I get it. Maybe, he's just one guy and he's trying to get them all out there and painted, but if you're going to go that route, sell less of them so you can, do a better paint job for the people that do pay the extra money to get them painted. I just, I get there's probably a lot of demand, but there's got to be some give and take, people are paying a lot of money for a fully painted figure, and when only some of it is painted, it sucks, man. Another thing is the paint is tacky. It feels like kind of sticky, so I don't know if it was sealed or not. And that the paint being tacky probably contributes to all the chipping as well. So just another unfortunate thing about this figure. One last thing is that there's a YouTuber that gets all of Artic figures releases, and he reviews them before Artic figures, puts them out and sells them. It's kind of like he does promos for Artic figures. I don't know if this reviewer pays for the figures or what, but if you're doing a review of something that you're the first reviewer doing a review of a figure, I feel like it's your responsibility to be honest to your viewers, because the paint isn't this YouTuber's fault. Like, the YouTuber didn't paint this. He got an unpainted one and painted it himself, but he had to have known these issues with like chipping, like paint chipping, the figure not being able to stand, and those things were just glossed over and the figure was just hyped up. That's not Artic Figure's fault by any means, but it's unfortunate that that kind of thing is going on. And as a reviewer myself, I'm giving you guys my honest opinions here. So if you're thinking about picking up one of these, you have all the facts. Maybe this is worst case scenario. I hope it is. My figure and everyone else's is just awesome. But I'm just telling you from my perspective what I have here. So those are all my gripes out of the way. So let's just get into this review and let me show you guys what this figure is all about. So first we'll take a close look at the paint here. And, on the surface level, it looks really nice. Like, I wish the whole figure was painted. It looks really nice. Without articulating it, there's really nothing wrong with the paint job here. My only gripe is both of my eyes are painted looking down, so that's kind of a weird thing. It's not exactly a problem. It's just a personal nitpick myself. So now we'll take a look at the inside of the mouth here. And this is honestly the standout of the figure. Really nice glossy tongue. The roof of the mouth is painted. Even like the throat in there is painted. Let me get a light on it so you guys can see. The throat is painted and that looks really great. The teeth are all nicely painted. It's really cool looking, Look at the underside. Nice dry brushing over the underside here, and for what is painted. The scutes all have a nice dry brush on them, and that's really cool. It looks just like the movie. I really like that detail. So there's the paint for you. You've gotten a good look at it. Overall, it's really nice for what is there. So now let's go ahead and get into the articulation. So for articulation, the head and the neck is on the string joint system like I talked about earlier. So you're able to get the head to look up this much, and that's a really great amount. Going down about that much, and that's really good too. There's not really much more you could ask for there. But looking down, you just reveal some more parts of the figure that aren't painted. Going side to side is really nice as well. He can practically look over his shoulder. But again, more unpainted parts are revealed as you're articulating the figure. And like I showed you earlier, the mouth does open. It does open this wide. So that's cool. The arms articulate. They'll go back this much, forward this much. You could probably spin them all the way around, but I'm not going to do that because the arms feel pretty fragile. The elbow will straighten out that much and will go in that much. And you can also rotate in and out, as well as you can do the same thing with the shoulder, getting it out to the side or in. So that's really cool. With the wrist, there's really no articulation. It just kind of spins around and moves the forearm with it because this is where the end of the string is, so it's the tightest there, so there's not as much movement, but that can be forgiven. For the body, it will go down this much and will go up this much, but like I said before, it reveals the unpainted parts of the figure. For the legs, here's the biggest issue here. The figure itself is really heavy, and the strings along with the joints aren't strong enough to support it. It's just the strings are holding the whole leg together with friction. It's not like some magical string articulation. It's just the strings are really tight. So there's a lot of friction between all the joints, and that there causes all the paint chipping. Along with that, it's just not tight enough to actually support the weight of the figure. So what could have been done was make the body itself a lot lighter, and these friction joints would probably hold up a lot better. I don't know what could have been done with all the paint chipping because of the friction. That's just kind of what you get when you use these type of joints. So maybe if you custom paint it yourself, you can find a way around paint chipping and it won't happen as much for you, but that's the biggest problem with this figure here. But let me show you the leg articulation. So it will go forward that much and go back that much. And as you can hear, it's rubbing against the figure. For the knees, we'll straighten out that much and we'll go in this much. For the second knee, it goes in that much as it already is and comes out that much. But again, reveals like an unpainted part of the figure. The legs can also go out and go in for some ankle pivot. And the foot itself here will only rotate. It's not going to articulate at all, really. I mean, just a little bit, but this is where the string is tied to. So it's the tightest point of the leg here. So there's not much movement because of where the string is tied. The toes articulate. They just go down a little bit. And for a figure that really can't stand that well, I probably would have opted for a solid foot to maybe help with support. That could be one way to improve it. But yeah, so that's the leg articulation there. It's just a real pain in the ass, honestly. It doesn't want to stand. And let me show you. Okay, it's standing, but the second you move it, it just kind of collapses under its own weight. Like, you got to really work it to get it to stand up. Like this joint right here, there just is not enough friction to support this heavy figure. You really have to kind of finagle it to get it to stand. And while you're doing that, you're just chipping and chipping away the paint, which is unfortunate. But yeah. So once you get it in a position, it will hold. You just have to hope that the joints hold up over time and don't give out on you. So you kind of just have to straighten the legs out as much as you can because that's where the joint is the strongest. It'll kind of just lock right there because there's that ball. But yeah, you're stuck just straightening out the legs. So now that I'm done ranting about the legs, let's go on to the tail. And this is where the string articulation really shines. So moving to the side, you can get a really deep curve with the tail, and that's really nice. All the sections will articulate except for the tip, because this is where it's tightest, just like the foot. So it goes to the side that much. It will go up this much and will go down that much, which is a really nice range for the tail. So now let's see how tall this guy is, and we'll wrap up this review. I'll stand him up real quick. And I'll stand him up real quick. I just want to stand him in a neutral pose so we can get the correct height. Damn. Okay. That's about how the V-Rex stands. All right, so for the height, he comes in at about, at about 6.5 inches, maybe 7, depending on how you pose him, standing upright or kind of more prone like this. The total length, he is probably 14 inches long in total. You can't really see it, but yeah, about 14 inches, maybe 13. One last thing, he does come with a little trading card here. It has a nice foil on it, and there's stats and stuff. Maybe Artic figures. It plans on like making a game out of all of his figures, like Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. It comes with that. But yeah, guys, that's it. Overall, it's a V-Rex for your shelf at the end of the day. So it's going to look cool on the shelf. It's just not that playable. And, I don't know what I expected for $300. Maybe I have my expectations too high, but it is what it is. I'm just giving you my honest opinions here. And yeah, that's the review, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one.